My name is Jakub Kosiba. I'm part of the Young Republicans of Bear County Club, and I'm running for the Northside ISD Board of Trustees, District 5. School boards for ISD schools. I know a lot of young people usually don't have children or are married or have someone that's really related to the school district. But if you go look at one board meeting, that's my advice I would give anyone who's in an ISD school, and go examine how they vote on stuff that you're like, wait, what? Okay, so there was a cafeteria recently. This is something that recent that happened at a school that $9 million to redo the flooring. $9 million on a flooring for a cafeteria. It doesn't cost $9 million to do a flooring. I'm sorry, I don't know what contractor you have. It doesn't take that much. And the board immediately votes 7-0 most of the time on every issue that they have in their agenda. Think about that. 9 or 9-0 or 7-0, depending on the school, whichever district it is. Why is there always no opposition in anything? That should be a little concerning based on what's on the agenda. Maybe most of it can be good on the agenda. Some of it might be bad. But why is it that everyone's aligned with, oh, this is perfect, this is a great plan? Look into the details on these plans specifically. That's what I want to tell people who read into the issues that are happening and then go to a school board meeting and you text me or tell me when there's a 6-1 vote. It don't happen. I have never seen that in the 4 years that I've been in board meetings. It's never happened. So we need people that are conservatives that have their opinions, their voice heard on these boards, and tell them something a little different. Who knows what might happen at legislative session? I'm not sure what might happen if I get elected, but if there's more conservatives on these boards, you can change the direction of how they think even. So that's something that's very encouraging. If there's 3 or 4 board members that are conservative, it'll change the minds of the entire board, and y'all can still work together to get great things done. So that's something I would like to add on to that. I'm running for school board of trustees in Northside Independent School District. I work for a charter school system, and I have for the last 4 years, and I knew that would be an issue. I've had conversations with a couple people in the administration currently, like, oh, that makes you an outsider. So what are you doing here? So I had to think long and hard. I used to work for Northside. I've worked in the ISD system, so I know exactly what they do. But it gave me a knowledge of, hey, the different perspectives from different school districts brought me knowledge. And like, okay, I'm going to prepare what things work that happen in charter schools and how we can implement that and push it into the ISD schools. Yes, they're very different actually. But charter schools are all about parent involvement and teacher voice being heard. ISDs, not so much. So I knew that message would very much align with a lot of voters in ISDs who are kind of just the board votes. You're kind of just told like, this is how it's going to be. I've been on a lot of meetings. There's not really a whole lot of like a loud voice of parents, honestly, in the district for what they want to see, even though we're paying for that. So I had to go back and I joined the page to look at the issues, and I read about it every single day, what's going on in our school system. It happens at the state level, so I already know what's going on before anyone else, honestly. And I've also been able to get myself involved in talking to the state senators as well regarding what's happening in our education. That's what got me prepared in being in those meetings and just reading every single day of what's going on. So the biggest concerns is obviously your financial situation is number one, and where you work. We're Republicans. I will say that proudly. I've never been anything else than that. And right now, conservatives are being censored. So anytime a conservative says anything, actually they're losing their jobs right now. So it's very risky. Me doing this campaign is already taking a risk knowing what position I'm in. And number two is my personal life with my fiance. It's We had a long conversation about that, like, hey, should I run? So we agreed on mutual things. Okay, this is going to go on if I run for office. So it's just, you have to have those conversations with whoever you're with. It's not just a decision you make alone. You need to talk to your family or whoever your significant other. Look at your financial stability, if you're even ready to take that step. And I believe this time around I was. And just like I said moments ago, this is a risk that I'm even running for this position is already being a risk wherever I'm at right now. That very first legislative, it's a board meeting, but I want to call it like a legislative session where they all come together and decide on what's going to happen for it. Because if I get elected, I'm going to be able to strategically plan for the next school year. And that's what I'm really most excited about, because I want to reopen all schools. It's not going to be where we're locked down anymore. I know that a lot of school districts just made their decision to wear the mask mandate still. I totally understand, but I'm more concerned about reopening our schools and creating a plan, which I have a plan on my website, even how to, if we are to contain this. I think a lot of the other board members. So really the number one thing I'm excited about is the planning for next school year, because there's a lot of things that we can improve in Northside. The most challenging thing I'm going to have is I'm going to be in disagreements with a lot of these board members. That's just how it's going to be. I'm going to try to work with them and find middle ground, but I want them to at least hear out, like, we can do this. There's on my website at votejakubkosiba.com, I have a strategic plan for the TRS system, Social Security, how to reopen our schools. And that's just the type of mindset a lot of these my opponents don't have. That I have it. So just them listening to me, because they're on the average age is going to be above 50. I'm a 28-year-old about to be on the board, and they're going to be like, who is this guy who doesn't even work in our district? Why is he even here? I mean, but it's just going to be a challenge to have them listen to me, I guess. But I will work with them. Like, I'm not here to like challenge you on what you want to do. Let's try to have new ideas from the perspective of, I'm going to be the only educator on the board. That's super big. We don't have any educators on the board. So why not have that perspective of an educator who sees inside the classroom every single day on that board to see what we can do better? And I think that might actually help me. And I'm very good with the relationships with people and coming together on issues, whether it's Democrat, Republicans, Independents. I've always been that person where I can go into a room full of Democrats or Republicans and like, hey, let's get on the same page on this thing. So number one, I want to say, don't be scared to state your opinions. I understand like half the audience, if there's Democrats watching, they're not going to like a lot of what I have to say. But I will say this: I will listen to you. I will hear you out, and we can come to a compromise on any issue. I'm going to have to do it if I get elected, but be confident. Don't be afraid to speak out what you believe in, because that's something that's very dearly important. And another advice I would give you: start growing your connections. That's a big one. Whether you get a response or not, be always actively engaged in the process, whatever it might be. Go work on campaigns, go be a precinct chair, even though in Bear County it's not the greatest thing in the world. But just be engaged in the process from the very start to gain your connections, and always stay in touch with those people. That's the type of that's the problem with a lot of these people that run for office. They run for office. If they win, they start losing touch with reality of who was supporting them. You want to keep that connection with these people and work together with them, because those are the people that hopefully one day are going to push something greater than you can imagine. So just be engaged in the process, grow your connection base, and just be everywhere as possible, and just be accepting of other opinions is another thing. I am a conservative. I get it. But I'm very, very open-minded to the other side on a lot of issues. And most of the time, I just spoke a week ago to two parents that were Bernie Sanders supporter that hated a lot I had to say. But guess what? At the end of the day, we came in agreement on on a lot of things at the end of the day. So just be open-minded and just have a conversation. Just be willing to have that conversation, whether you're comfortable with it or not. And that's it.